sequel to the 2010 Warner Brothers Legendary Pictures remake of Clash of the Titans is 2012's Wrath of the Titans, reuniting the trio Sam Worthington playing Perseus, the lead character, son and demigod of Zeus, played by Liam Neeson, along with his brother, god of the underworld, Hades. Okay, this is just a perfect example of great setting, great characters, great CGI once again. If you love the fantasy in this world, then it's worth seeing, but not great storytelling. Definitely not as great as the first one. A lot of people hated on the first remake because of just basically it being a remake, but I think it was the perfect franchise to get a reboot for the CGI era, because the stop motion on the original is just terrible. Like Equinox 1970 is arguably better than the stop motion for Clash of the Titans 1980 or whatever when it came out. Anyway, so in this one, but they just really demean the characters of Zeus. It doesn't even feel like Zeus. He's losing his power, so he doesn't have his shine, doesn't have the same screen presence. They emotionally soften up Hades and dive into his human side, and wow. It's just not that great, but the creatures that they end up fighting are brilliant. The Chimera, the Cyclops, and you're like, once the Cyclops comes, you're like, alright, it's starting to get good. Then 3 Cyclops come, and they turned out to be good guys, or actually, basically, they're just henchmen to this fallen god who is basically the weapon maker for the gods now, who they end up having to go to. Just not as great of a story as the Clash of the Titans. But the story for this one is Kronos, the father of Zeus and Hades. They basically turn him into the Kraken, as you could see from right here. He ends up getting revenge, and that's basically the whole story. So, and the humans, and it's 10 decades past Clash of the Titans, so, and the humans more and more don't worship the gods, so they lose their power, and Zeus tries to recruit Perseus like it's the Avengers in the opening scene, and you're like, oh my god. And all the lines he says, he's trying to give him pep talks and everything. It's just not what Zeus would say the whole time is what you're feeling. But definitely check it out for the CGI and creatures in the ancient Greece setting, like I was saying. That's all you're going for. Was not impressed by the storytelling of this. I expected a lot more out of it. Then they replaced the new queen, and they made her blonde for some reason. I don't know why they didn't bring back Alexis Davalos, but I really didn't like her. No one really did, I don't think. Now I'm basically going to tell spoilers. I'm going to give it a B minus still. I'd give Clash of the Titans a B plus, maybe A minus. I'd give this one like a B minus, C plus. Anyway, so now for people who have seen it, and spoilers, I want to talk about how. Let's see. So the ending takes place, and Kronos, it just comes off as a copycat of the Kraken being unleashed, and Zeus and Hades end up fighting Kronos, and it's not that epic. And then of course Perseus gets on his unicorn and he dives into the heart of Kronos, and that's how I don't know why they turned Kronos into the Kraken type of underworld character, but I'd almost and in the end, Perseus ends up defeating Kronos, and then Zeus ends up dying, and then Hades ends up immortal, and Perseus just lets him walk free. And I think this, and they've already financed for and greenlighted a 3rd film, and I don't really know where they expect to go with this one. it just was almost the definition of a cash grab, maybe a little bit too rushed on the story. You had to figure that the writers were way too rushed, so it just wasn't that in-depth or elaborate, and the characters, the new additions, just weren't that exciting or didn't bring that much to their characters. But I think the third one should be a prequel of how the Olympians, the second generations of gods, which is Zeus and Hades and his brothers and his other siblings, who overthrown Kronos and the first generation. That would be interesting. The War of the Titans prequel by the younger generations of Olympians. This was JBM from Villain News, VillainRadio, and click on my horror channel for horror and comic book channel for more videos like this. Send me a personal message if you want to talk about anything or any movie franchise in particular, and I'm out.